You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Erica Russo, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome to the Intuitive Souls podcast. Thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, welcome. My name is Erica, and I am the host of this amazing podcast. We talk about all the stuff under the spirituality umbrella. We talk about crystals, we talk about manifestation, we talk about the law of attraction, basically everything that keeps me going. So this week is actually, I'm so excited to tell you guys this. I'm finally freaking done with setting up my office. So in case you haven't been watching my Insta stories, I have been having a kind of a hard time finding a perfect place within my home that doesn't really have a lot of echo or a lot of background noise. So to make a long story short, I basically was upstairs because I watched that Marie Kondo Netflix special, and of course I had to go throw away stuff that didn't bring me joy. So I went up to my attic, which we stored all of our crap in, just so much useless stuff was up here. And I noticed that the pitch of the ceiling was very low, so there wasn't a lot of echo. And I was like, well, why don't I do this cleanup, right? And then turn this into my own personal office, creation station, Zen Den, whatever you want to call it. And I am finally done with it. It is clean. It's looking great. I'll post some more pictures of it because I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I got all my motivational shit on the wall. I got my chakra shit on the wall. I got all my crystals. It is a beautiful, beautiful place. So this is the first episode that I'm actually recording in my new magical den, and I'm so excited to be sharing this with you. And this week, I am going to actually sit down with my friend, Steph White, and she is the owner of 1111 Spiritual Support and Card Readings. And we just kind of talk about the way she woke up to her spiritual gifts and her life, which is so interesting because, I'll let you guys just listen to our conversation, but she has such a really amazing way of touching on all the stuff, you know what I mean? She has been extremely religious, she has been anti-religious, anti-spirituality, and now she's a freaking psychic. So it's really so funny how we always kind of come back to a place of being one with our spirit. So in this week, there's a little bit more curse words, so I apologize if it offends anybody, but it is a really great conversation. She's a really awesome person, and definitely check her out on Facebook. Again, she is 1111 Tarot Babe on Facebook. So this week, I decided to choose Celestine or the crystal. So I am really digging Celestine right now. It's all over my new Zen Den, obviously, and Celestine has a high vibration and is a teacher for the new age. It is imbued with divine energies. It takes you into the infinite peace of the spiritual in context with the angelic realms. It jumpstarts spiritual development and urges you toward enlightenment. It is a useful stone for stimulating clairvoyance, communication, dream recall, and journeys out of the body. This beautiful crystal promotes purity of the heart and attracts good fortune. It heals the aura and reveals the truth. So I have a bunch of new Celestine pieces all around my room, all around my house, and I really, really just love the energy from it. It's a very I want to say a delicate energy, but you really do feel much more connected to your soul when you are around it. It's a really pretty blue periwinkle color, and it's just such a nice, positive, like high vibrational stone. It really is. Like the energy I get out of it is just like a very calm and peaceful connection to your spirit. So check that out if you are wanting to, connect and maybe be more in touch with your angels or, astral project or travel, like whatever floats your boat. So the essential oil of the week is grapefruit, and it's all about honoring the body. Grapefruit teaches true respect and appreciation for one's physical body. It supports individuals who struggle to honor their body and are caught in patterns of mistreatment. These forms of abuse may include severe dieting, judging one's body weight or type, and abusing the body through neglect or behavior or violence. These acts are often motivated by hate and disgust buried within the psyche, which gets directed toward the physical body. So this is actually coming from my new book, Emotions and Essential Oils. I just love how everything is just so connected. You know what I mean? Like the grapefruit is all about honoring the body. It's good for the negative emotions of body shame, obsession with food or dieting, eating issues, distorted self-image, and the positive properties are respectful of physical needs, body acceptance, nourishment, healthy relationship with food. So it's really a great it's a great oil for, balance, a healthy lifestyle, I should say. And, I believe that this is in my Slim and Sassy blend that I use every day in my water. And it's such a nice, it's one of my favorites, honestly, because I don't like the taste of water. I hate the taste of water. So I need to have something in it to like kind of jazz it up. So I either do like some grapefruit oil or some lemon or some lime, but it is a wonderful oil to have, especially if you are conscious of, having a healthy body image and, trying to stay in shape and eat healthy. So let me see. Okay, so I chose for the Oracle card of the week, I went to my Archangel Gabriel deck by Doreen Virtue, and I pulled a card, and it is saying motivation. Pray for guidance as to how to increase your enthusiasm for and focus on this project. This might be for me because there's a lot going on right now for me and I kind of need some motivation, but I think we all need some motivation from time to time. I think that there's somebody listening that is lacking a little bit of focus and that kind of needs that push to finish a project, start a job, open up a business, whatever it is. This is your sign. So go ahead and seize the day, guys. Okay, so I hope that you guys really enjoy this this episode. Me and Steph really kind of it was like a really nice back and forth. I know Steph personally, so it was a great conversation. She really is a wealth of knowledge. She's awesome with any sort of spiritual guidance, and she offers a lot of support within her Facebook group. So definitely go ahead and check her out. And I hope you guys enjoy this show. I will see you guys next week. Steph, thank you so much for being on the show today. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to be a professional psychic?
Yes. So thank you so much for having me on, Erica. So I'm new to the world in regards to being a professional psychic. I have been somebody that was extremely interested and drawn into all things like metaphysical, spiritual world. I was actually incredibly religious growing up for a short period of time, which was not something that my family put on me. I actually found the Catholic Church myself when I was like 12. Converted.
Wow.
Yeah. I converted. It took 2 years. I went to class every Sunday. Like, it was a big deal to me. It was very important. And it was because spiritualism and the Catholic Church actually have a lot of connections. I still use a lot of the teachings that I learned in my practice today. And it was trying to find that spiritual connection that I was seeking. So that was where I started my path. It's a little funny ending up here now, but as a young adult, I went through a lot of problems, a lot of trauma, a lot of death, addiction, sexual abuse, things of that nature. And so my life just kind of, I'm somebody that it took the whole universe coming against me basically to get me on the right path, to see what I needed to do, to see what my gifts were, to stop trying to, basically dull them with drugs and alcohol and anything to make it go away. And so I went that path for a while. And I thought, I got like nihilistic. I didn't care about anything. I thought we're just here to live and die and that's it for a while. So I've been in a lot of different mind frames about spiritualism, about religion, about our purpose, and about abilities. And so, because I was at a point where you can find somewhere online where I talk bad about everything I do now, because I was there was just something in me that knew there was something that I wanted to kind of dive into, but I couldn't for whatever reason. So eventually I got down to the bottom. I had built my whole life into what I thought I wanted materialistically. I had everything I wanted. I had the family, I had the finances, I had the whole setup, and I still felt so empty. And that's when I had my own like official dark soul of the night, my own official moment of clarity where it was like, wake up. And I took that first step and I did not look back. So that happened about in 2016. So I just decided to put myself into it and really focus and start developing my skills. I started working on meditation. I started working on, really focusing on the areas that I had always wanted to study that I kind of dabbled in, but didn't really go full force. So with tarot and with oracles, with channeling information, with, dealing with my dreams and trying to understand what they meant and how they reflect in my life and things of that nature with astrology. And so I went full force hardcore, and I'm the type of person when I want something like that, or I'm into it, I'm obsessed. So, everything just started to open up because I was in the right direction. It came to me incredibly easy. And so I one day decided that I felt a calling to start to put myself out there, which was especially hard because, like I said, I was the type of person that was a jerk. I made fun of people that were spiritual. I made fun of, I was very into science. And so it was like, well, that's just not right. Like, there's no science backing this. So whatever. So I had to basically do a 360 and go and say, you know what, I was wrong. And these are my experiences, and put myself out there, put my platform out there, and start doing readings. And it just started to develop very, very quickly over the last couple of years. So It's been, I always like to tell people, like, okay, like, I know, like, if you're going through some stuff and you kind of want to like look into spiritualism, but you get all this like very heavy, almost pushing like religion type energy, like even like, just like you're I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of the right word, like it just kind of sometimes that this field and this like light workers and everything can kind of feel like, oh, I don't know if I'm good enough for it. Like, I've been like in all kinds of different types of people and all different mind frames, and I'm here now. So
Right. Yeah. That's incredible that you literally have been to basically each side of the spectrum, to the ultra religious, to the anti-religious, and now you've just kind of found a home within your own spirituality. That's really, so you really do kind of have a nice basic background of, religion, and as far as like the anti-religion. So, for someone who could say like, I've done the religious thing and I've also done the anti-religious thing, and now I'm here and I'm building my spiritual gifts and I'm building a spiritual business, that says a lot. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I feel like it helps so much when it comes to connecting with other people, because it's like, I can connect with a person that's scared of this because they've been taught, devil's work and this is evil. And I can connect with a person that's like, you're crazy and I don't care, because I know that you think I'm crazy, but let me plant the seed. And that's what I believe is so important for all of us, is to plant seeds, because they don't have to believe you. They don't have to, you know, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. All you need to do is just plant your seeds. And it's amazing what happens when you do that and just walk away, what somebody will come around to you later on and let you know.
Right. I went through like the same thing when you said like, you know, coming out as a psychic and offering your gifts and offering, you know, readings to people. I was kind of like the same way, where I was like, I'm either going big or I'm going home. Like, I'm not beating around the bush. I'm making a Facebook page. I'm making myself official. I'm going to make it known. You know, and I think the biggest thing for me was like, people are going to think that I lost my shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was my biggest thing, is like, you know, I live in a very small town. So the first thing they're going to do is going to, you know, make assumptions and be like, you know, oh, you know, she had a spiritual awakening. Yeah, I did have a spiritual awakening, you know, and you know that you had a spiritual awakening because you're sitting here saying the same thing as I am. It's like, you know, you can't explain it. You can't explain the dark night of the soul because it's different for everybody. You can't explain a spiritual awakening because it's different for everyone. All you can do is, like you said, plant the seed, say what happened to you, how you came about, how you started your spiritual journey. And then you have to walk away.
Yes.
And you can just only hope that this person at least took a little bit of the information that you gave them to heart. And they sat on it.
Yeah. The last thing you want to do is to shove your beliefs down somebody else's throat, because that does not work. And your beliefs might not be aligned with whatever their path is, and they might not be ready for what you have to say. So I'm all about, and like, that's with my page. I've tried to make it like relatable as possible. Same with the group. Like, I want people to feel comfortable and not to feel like this is just another brand of organized religion, basically. So, and I want to make people feel comfortable that they're not going crazy. I always recommend, because I am still that very logical, like, you know, I still trust a lot of science and things like that. I still always recommend people go and see a mental health professional to rule out anything. But, you know, more than likely you're not going crazy if you think you're going crazy.
Right.
It's always kind of the rule there. So making sure people know that they're not going crazy. They're not alone. There's so many people going through it, is so important to me, because when I was going through it, I was alone, and I got so low, where I knew if I didn't do something in that moment, that night, if I didn't change something with what was happening inside of me, and if I didn't face it, and if I stopped, you know, because I just kept trying to run and trying to cover it, if I didn't face it, I was going to end up not being able to exist on this planet later on. And I have little kids, so I would never do anything like that whenever my kids were little. But at that point in my life, I was thinking, I can't be here for 40 years, 50 years feeling like this. Right. So it was, you know, and so I know feeling like that, feeling that low and not alone, I don't want other people to have to go through that and feel like there's nobody else that understands what that felt like. So that's why I'm really open with my story. I'm really open with like how I am, that I'm not perfect. I'm like, anyway, so, it's important, I think, for us to all realize that we are not alone in this at all.
Yeah, I 5,000% agree with that. Like, that was my biggest thing, is like, you know, I love doing readings and I love working with people and I love, you know, tarot and everything and my mediumship and stuff. But at the end of the day, I think like what I want is to just necessarily, you know, because we're waking up at a rapid speed now, you know.
Yes.
I notice more and more people questioning everything, you know, asking me questions and stuff. And I wanted, you know, this is like basically why I started this podcast, was I wanted to give this information out to people that are going through the spiritual awakening process, because I don't want them to feel alone, because like you said, it is lonely as hell and it is not fun. It is not fun whatsoever. And if you can shed a little bit of light and let them know that you're not alone and crazy, like that to me is just like the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And especially like you said, everybody's waking up rapidly, and people are waking up in ways. I have a friend that she had no inkling to these things really, like, you know, maybe bits and pieces there in her life, but nothing big, no big pulls her whole life or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
She had one night and it snapped, and she thought she literally had some sort of schizophrenic break where she all of a sudden developed schizophrenia. She had no prep. Like, I'm so thankful. I had years and years of prep. So for people like that are like going to sleep and waking up in this totally different, basically reality, it's important to be there for them and let them know that they're, we're here. There's people here ready, waiting to help you. I really see us, the people awake right now, as like first responders there to assist for the mass awakenings to come.
Yes. Oh, I love that. That's like the only medical term I can ever give myself.
Yeah.
First responder. Yeah. I always say, like, for like all the light workers out there that are, because it is, having an expanded consciousness, it's definitely hard living in a very third dimensional world. So it's always like, you woke up before everybody else for a reason. Just always remember that. Always remember that you're here because you're supposed to guide others. So, don't think that you're alone, because you're not. And, just, roll with it. So what, as far as, incorporating spirituality into our daily practices, what are some of your like rituals and practices that you incorporate every day?
So I'm big on bathing rituals. I'm not big on like, I don't have like a beautifully scripted thing and I line everything up in a certain way. I'm very lazy person. And I'm a very busy person. So I kind of do things with a lot of intent. And, I follow things as best as I can, but I am big with making sure every single day I have a meditative bath or shower. I bring the crystals that I feel called to bring for that day. But most of it really is me turning my water into light. So I will turn, and this is in my head, turning my water into my shower water into light, the bath water into light, and just letting it totally cover me, letting all of the negativity and everything that we pick up as empaths and as working with people with, helping them with their blockages and things that we take on ourselves. I basically view myself as a like car and I'm giving myself an oil change in the shower. So I'm dumping this black sludge out of my body. I'm visualizing this black sludge leaving my body and the light filling it up, refilling myself. So that's something I do every single day. If I don't do that, I have physical like manifestations of issues. Like it's just too much, it's too much stuff that you take on in this field, and as being an empath.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a big one for me. Also, I'm a huge proponent of meditating or finding a meditative state or a flow state, really what it is, when you are doing your everyday activities, when it's safe to do so. So not driving, but like folding laundry. If you have a mountain of laundry that's going to take you a half hour to fold, that is a perfect opportunity to clear out your mind and listen and see what comes in. You don't have to always sit down and close your eyes or lay down and close your eyes to meditate and do that for 30 minutes. Like if you don't have time and if you're running, you can take those moments of dishes, laundry, scrubbing your shower, wherever you are doing something that is repetitive, where your conscious mind kind of can click off, you can listen to the subconscious then. And so I actually channel a crap ton of information while doing dishes and folding laundry. Like I said, I have little kids. I don't have a lot of time during the day to meditate. I do try to meditate for 20 to 30 minutes a day in a like traditional setting. But if I can't, then I will do it while I'm doing dishes. I'll do it because that's, I'm so big on meditation. It's so important. Everybody needs to meditate.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So
you have to get it in where you can, and you can do it even if you don't have the time. And so I always tell people that when I give them advice. And I think that's yeah, with my daily rituals, I think that's about it. I do try to wake up in the morning early, and do, like I said, like a morning meditation, and also pull some cards for myself to kind of get an idea of my energies throughout the day. Um, so yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah. I love, because I am in a meditation junkie. Like I meditate at least, I always try for at least 2 times a day. When I wake up really early and I'll meditate in the morning. And that's always a given. Like I don't leave my bed until I meditate. And then I try to do one later in the evening. But that's like the number one thing I tell everyone who wants to like enhance their gifts, or not even enhance their gifts. It's like meditation. When you want to have a connection to your soul and your spirit, meditation is neat. You can buy all the crystals you can want. You can douse yourself in essential oils. You can read all the books. But if you are not practicing a daily meditation habit, that's the key element into
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
That's I believe it's like 85% is a meditation.
It drives me actually absolutely crazy. And I'm somebody that sells crystals. I go absolutely insane when I see, okay, so tell me exactly what to buy so then I can do this. Like, no, that's not.
Yeah.
You don't buy this. Like, it helps you, but you are doing most of the work. It's all on you. And so, yeah. And luckily it's like not a hard thing to do when you practice. And a lot of people get frustrated because I'm like, I can't turn off my brain. Well, don't worry about that. Just a thought comes in. Okay, cool. It's there. It just keep trying and it will get easier. Now, when I go into a meditative state, I'm unconscious within like a minute, 2 minutes. I'm gone. So I don't have to deal with the thoughts running and all that. And I'm somebody that is high strung and has tons of anxious thoughts all the time. But when my body is so trained that when I'm going into that state, it happens because it's a muscle. I feel like it's like a muscle and you have to train it.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely can see that as a muscle. I'm definitely not as like good as you. Like I can't shut off my mind that quickly, but I'm to a point where it's like, I can definitely, when I first started, I realized that like I couldn't go 1 minute without a thought popping in. I just remembered that I was thinking like, I think the second time or third time I meditated, I was literally thinking while I was meditating of how ridiculous this is. And I think everyone does that. And
everybody, and the people are like, no, I can't do it. I'm like, believe me, nobody thinks they can do it. It's getting over that like weird beginning period. You just have to get over it.
Yeah. And it isn't about meditation perfect. It's about meditation practice.
Yes.
You will meditate for 20 years and you're still going to have thoughts come in. We're not enlightened. Yes. We can't stop our thoughts. It's learning to observe them, and it's learning to, concentrate on your breath. So I love that we both have young children, right? We're both busy moms, and we're sitting here saying, because I think a lot of the time is like a lot of reasons why people deter from meditation is like, I'm too busy, right? Like they don't have 5 minutes to sit down, and we're sitting here and it's like, it's not about sitting down. It's like you said, with your daily chores, just be conscious of it, be mindful,
In the shower. Yesterday I had a crazy meditation in the shower and I was 100% conscious, but I cleared my head and I got a ton of information downloaded that was like, and visuals even. And so like, this is something that has progressed at this point. But when I was starting with meditation, I was able to do, work on clearing my head in the shower and practice during those moments that I talk about now that I'm actually able to gain information during that time. So it's practice. It's like any other thing, really. It's, if you want to play an instrument, you have to practice. If you want to, run a marathon, you're going to have to train. You have to keep practicing. And each time you practice, you're going to get better. And the other thing I think people need to do with meditation is trust themselves. I feel like people don't trust themselves to like do it right. And it's like, just let that go. Like, stop with this. Let's do it right. You are on a spiritual path. There is no let's do it right. There's not one person among light workers that can tell you the absolute truth and the exact absolute perfect way to do something. There's, we're all like learning together, sharing information, and finding the best path for ourselves and each other that way. It's not about like, it's like I get this like, they just don't feel like it's almost like not having confidence in being able to, I don't know, trust your own thoughts and your own body, your own mind to release. It might be a control thing, but trusting yourself to just, trusting yourself that you're not crazy and to listen to the thoughts that do
come in. Yeah. That's so true, because it's like, I can tell you what I do, for my spiritual practice, and you could say what you do and stuff. But ultimately, and I always say this, is like your spiritual practice, whatever you do, whether it's a 5-minute meditation in the morning, whether it's, yoga, Kundalini yoga, whatever it is, whatever your soul is calling you to do, that's your path. That's your path. I can't tell you to do exactly my regimen, because my regimen might not bring you to your highest self.
Exactly. And I see that often in readings, actually, when I'm doing spiritual development readings for people, I'll see this. They're trying to follow a certain path that somebody else told them that they need to follow. I'll see that come through on the cards, and I'll see that come through on the visuals. And it's like, don't do that. Do what your soul will direct you exactly to the information and to the people that you need to come in contact with. And that's what you need to follow, not what somebody else is telling you, as we sit here and tell people what to do. And I always say that. And it's like, if what I'm saying to you makes you feel like, yes, I needed to hear that. That's exactly what I've been trying to, understand myself. Then yes, then listen to me. But if you're like, I don't know, then listen to that. Like,
right,
you could have a totally different path than what I'm taking. And that's cool. That's amazing, because that's what makes everything so like amazing. Like, we're all on these different paths and different journeys, and we still interconnect. So it's pretty cool anyway. So yeah.
Right. And that's why it's always like, trust your intuition.
Yeah.
Trust it. If I'm sitting here telling you that you should meditate 2 times a day for 20 minutes a day, but you're like, no, and it's not feeling good, and you're not in flow when I'm telling you this, then don't listen to me.
Exactly.
Then don't listen to me. But, it's ultimately just learning to trust your intuition, because that is our calling card. And
yes.
It's just so important. So, what I'm really into, obviously I'm into crystals, but what crystal or crystals do you use that help you enhance your psychic abilities and intuition?
So it's funny. I always kind of call myself the basic bitch of crystals, because my favorite crystals are some of the most popular crystals. I absolutely love amethyst and rose quartz. Rose quartz in particular, I wear it raw rose quartz like every single day. I work a lot from my heart chakra, like a lot, and I need it. Like, I absolutely just need it, period. It completely enhances my readings and my ability to comprehend what is coming in, the information I'm receiving there. I also like amethyst a lot, because that's for multiple reasons. But, really, amethyst, I feel, kind of just really calms me down so I can understand what's coming in. Clear quartz is where I feel what actually kind of like amplifies the messages I'm getting whenever I will have like a wand of clear quartz in my hand when I'm doing readings usually. Mm-hmm. And then my favorite crystal of all is selenite, because I'm anxious as fuck. And I need it. I need it. Like, if I'm doing a reading or I'm doing a live, my heartbeat is like 120 miles, or 20 miles, Jesus.
I know.
Per minute. And it's like, I'm feeling all the energy on that reading and all the energy of all the people. And it's like, I like have it on my lap and like regularly will touch it. And it zaps all of that. And it just drains it all out of me. So that's like probably my number one, actually.
Yeah, it's so funny you say that.
Calm, I'm not going to understand anything that's happening. So
It's so funny you said that because I think I found you're live because we are both Steph has a wonderful spiritual support and readings group, and I'm a moderator and admin in it. And she goes live, and I just have to tell you the story because you go live and you can see like the cards that she's pulling and all her crystals in the background, and you can hear her talking. And I like I got the notification, so I started watching, and I'm watching, and I'm like, she is nervous as hell. Like I'm feeling like my heart palpitating. So I sent you Reiki because I'm like, she's so nervous.
I get so nervous because I get caught up. I'm a perfectionist. I have perfectionist issues. So I get caught up if I say something weird or wrong, or like I'm not able to access what I'm trying to, like the information that I'm getting is not making sense yet, and there's like a pause. I'm like, oh my God, I need to fill this time with my mouth, and then I'm just like rambling on. So yeah, it's important for me to stay calm. I regularly have to reground during like readings like that in the group. I get all caught up with all the energy that I'm picking up. But yeah,
right.
It's fun.
No, I do that too. Like when I get when it's like a really intense reading and I'm really far into it, I'll get like a massive like download, and I can't even, it was such a massive download that I can't even get it into words fast enough.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to start with this. And then it's like word jumble because you don't even know where to start with the information that you have. So I totally get that. Totally get that.
And I get a lot of like, for certain readings, like it happened my last live, I scared the poor woman. I went to go do her reading. I pulled the cards and I got hit with all of her emotions in my chest, and it felt like all of the emotions that she had in the situation that had been years and years hitting me at once. And I was like, here's your answer, and I gotta go. And I logged off. She had to message me and be like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I said I just felt everything that you have felt, and I had to go. So.
Yeah. You know, empath problems.
Yes. So that's the issue with lives, is you get a lot more of that than how when I do my readings where it's a quieter kind of
Right. Yeah, I'm not a fan of live readings either. Like I think I did one, and I don't know, someone was on and it was just really bad. I couldn't even like look at the cards. That's how bad like the anxiety was and like the buildup. And I was like, I have to go. This is so bad. Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad I'm not alone with that. See, everybody, we're not perfect, and
yes.
We have anxiety when we're reading, even if you don't realize it when you're listening. There's a lot of people, like my friends, that are not involved in this and just seeing it kind of from a superficial level. They're not seeing me. They think I'm very confident. I'm like, no, I'm terrified. I'm going to shit myself.
I know. Oh gosh, yeah, totally. It's if you're not doing it, and if you're not getting the downloads, and if you only understand if you have these problems, because it's like, you have to incorporate it like into your everyday life, like saging yourself every single day, grounding and protection. It's not,
every day.
It's not like we walk around, Earth like we're just, normal people. It's like, no, we actually have to take care of ourselves and our well-being, and we have to really like focus. We have to focus on where our energy is going, because it's so, I can like really like my husband, where we would be driving, right? And I will just like start astral projecting. Like seriously. And my husband literally like will look at me and be like, you are not in this earth. And I'm like, I know. Cause it's like, I can't help myself. That's just where I go. That's just where I go.
It's driving is becoming particularly difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that. I have a hard time. I joke that I just have a hard time staying on this planet.
Yeah.
Like I have to focus my attention and I have to ground. I ground all the time, like multiple times a day. Yeah, and I also walk around especially if I'm going outside of my house, which I don't like to do often, but when I'm going out around other people, I imagine myself in a giant bubble of light, because otherwise I'm going to feel and hear and see all kinds of stuff that I don't want to. So it's important to protect yourself, to shield, to ground, especially if you're just developing. It's going to be kind of scary if you walk past somebody and, you know, you get a sense of what they're feeling or thinking, or you know, however your gifts work.
Right.
And whatever information, how they come in.
So what is a myth or a lie you want to address about being psychic? I think we just did it.
I love this. This is my favorite topic, because you know what? I deal with a lot of assholes. So a lot of people that I'm still close with don't believe in this still. They believe me. They believe that I believe what's happening is real, but they are like, you know, you're just a little crazy. But my biggest pet peeve is people thinking that I can tell them, one, either exactly what they are thinking, like booking, you know, wanting a reading and then telling me I should already know what they want read. Or two,
the worst,
thinking that I can predict the future. And I'll explain that, because the future is fluid. So I can tell you, if you do this, this, and this, then this is a likely outcome. But if you go home and don't do anything that I tell you, then nothing's going to happen, or you're going to go down a different direction, because it's not set in stone. I don't believe a lot of things. There's some things that are, and those are our towers. Right. But there's a lot that's not. And so I get very frustrated with that, you know, that I guess it's linear thinking, and it's understandable because it's a crazy world. But my biggest thing is I cannot tell you what your question is. I'm not reading your mind like that. And it takes a lot of energy to pick up on these things, and it takes a little bit of intent to do it as well. Sometimes it comes through, but then it's usually not really wanted information when it comes through that way, as the person receiving it. So believe me, I'm not spending my energy and my time in my life trying to figure out what you're thinking or feeling.
Like, not at all.
Because
I know
this is what people think. They think that, and they even get kind of, I've noticed, get scared of you. And it's like, I'm telling you, like, you're not that important. I'm sorry, I don't want to. But it just takes too much energy, too much focus. I'm the type of person myself, I don't even want to, like, I'm not, if somebody's like, oh, somebody said this about you, I don't want to hear what anybody said about me. Like, I don't like that kind of thing.
Right. Yeah.
So I definitely don't want to pick up on how people feel or what they think about me.
Right.
In that regard. So, I mean, and also the fact that I think people think all of our gifts and the information comes in the same way. And it's not like that. So just because your aunt saw like a movie screen flash before her eyes whenever she said that she was psychic, that doesn't mean that that's how I receive my information. So, and that doesn't mean that the way I receive my information is wrong, or it's you know, bad information, or you know, whatever. It's just that everybody that I have met that has gifts, they receive their information differently. Like even in the littlest ways, it's still different. So I think that's important to remember as somebody, if you go and seek help from something that's psychic, but also as just a person yourself, knowing that your gifts might come to you differently than they have come to other people that you know.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Like, what are your strongest clairs?
Sentient, definitely. I feel everything.
Yeah.
I feel a lot. I'm starting to get a lot more visuals as of lately with upping my meditation. But it's my thing is all on feelings. I do also have clairaudience, so I do get nice little that kind of usually comes through as a clarifier. I'll get little dings of information there, but yeah, I work a lot through with my feelings and the information I get that way.
Yeah. See, what we're talking about, guys, is there's psychic portals. And what these psychic portals are basically your five senses, or there's more. There's like 8. Yeah, there's more than that. But your main ones are your clairvoyance, which is basically your mind's eye. And then there's your claircognizance, which is clear knowing, and clairsentience, which is clear emotional feeling. And, you know, like she said, everybody gets their stuff differently. Me, I'm very clairvoyant and I'm very claircognizant. And I'm clairsentient, but I feel like because I'm an empath and because I struggled with this most of my life, I've just learned boundaries with that, you know, where I just kind of shut off energetically because I don't want to feel it.
Yeah. It's really interesting. I found a lot of healing through feeling other people's feelings because I have a hard time feeling and processing my own feelings.
Right.
And it's really weird to live in this body that can comprehend very clearly other people's feelings and why they're feeling them and where they're coming from, and not be able to grasp your own whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
So it's helped me a lot with being able to process my own emotions and my own feelings. I don't know, it just expanded that within me as well. So I definitely, like for myself, I figured, you know, one day if I have these gifts, because I was like I love Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Charmed, and like, that was my thing. So I was like, I want to be a witch one day, or I want to be, you know, have gifts one day. And I always thought I was have these visions and flashes and all that, but it's these, you know, it's a mixture between clairsentient and claircognizance. It's definitely feelings, but it's known fact as well, is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
And my clairvoyance is very like, it's so hard to and it's all changes too. So I now will sometimes be doing readings and I will see words on the wall will come up and pop up. Things like that will start to happen. So I get really weird when I talk about it because it literally changes for me like every couple days.
Yeah, that's so, thank God you said that, because it was so funny, because when I'm channeling, when I'm doing mediumship, right, I start off like at the beginning of my development, I was really clairvoyant. Like I could see the person in my mind's eye. I could see the car they drove. And I liked that because it gave me evidence, you know, or that, okay, I'm not going crazy. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the clairvoyance shut off and it was just like claircognizance. And I freaked out. I was like, my mediumship is gone. I don't know what I did with it. I don't know, you know, and my teacher said, no, it's just developing. It's always going to be developing. You know, your clairvoyance might shut off for 6 months and then all of a sudden it will come back up in a reading. It's just you shaping your gifts, and you can't, you know, you just have to roll with it.
I think part of it is your higher self, your guides, whatever, you know, whatever's going on. That's my favorite, because it's like, I don't know if I'm right on this, but whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Is trying to push you to develop and not like lean on one gift, because you have multiple gifts. So you're, you know, if you only use that, then you wouldn't really push on other things. Like I know, like my, I'm really like, I get freaked out with being clairvoyant. It like scares me still. And I think we've discussed different stuff with mediumship and how I've had hits there, here and there, but I shut it down because I feel like I'm not necessarily ready for that. Mm-hmm. And so it's, you know, it's just really interesting how even in those moments where you might shut something down, how it will still try to like come back and come in a different way, or come in a different time. So yeah, I think it's, you know, it's every day is different. Every day is new and different. When you start to walk in your path, when you start to use your gifts. And I don't know how to explain that really until you are doing it yourself, and then you'll understand what I'm saying.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. But oh my gosh. So what are 3 pieces of advice you want to give the listeners about embarking on their spiritual journey?
So I think we kind of touched on it.
I think we did too.
Yeah, but I actually wrote some down. My first thing, my biggest thing is to trust yourself. You are not crazy. Trust the information that you receive, even if it's wrong, right? I believe that you receive wrong information for a reason too, because I've received wrong information because I needed to get a full picture of something. And, you know, things come around full circle. So you need to trust yourself, because that's the only way you can start to work on discernment. That's the only way that you can start to identify intuition versus feelings. And, you know, that's basically the starting point if you want to develop any type of psychic abilities that you have. The second part is to experiment on your path. Experiment with different philosophies, with different teachings, add stuff, take stuff away. There's, you know, experiment what you want to learn. Are you somebody that feels more called to like witchcraft and spells and that type of thing? Are you feeling called to tarot, which parts with craft, but, you know, more divination than spells and things like that? Are you, you know, really wanting to get into yoga and Kundalini yoga and all that? Like, whatever it is, just experiment, because it's like you're making your own religion in a way. You're making your own path, so you can take little bits and pieces of things that call you and add it in.
Yes,
if you try to follow somebody else's book or blog in regards to what they did to the T, then you're just doing their path. You're not doing yours. And then I would say my last piece of advice and biggest is to talk to the people around you. Okay, because if you're listening to this right now, you're awake. Because you wouldn't be here listening to this podcast if you weren't. So you're awake, and you have to think of yourself as a light, and you're shining, and your energy is shooting off of you, right? So you have people that are around you that they're picking up that energy, that you are awake, and it is seeping into them basically, and is stirring something within them. And so what I have noticed with the people that I read, and with my own experience, what's going on in my life, other people I talk to, and I talk to a lot of people, we're sparking each other off. It's like an electric switchboard. One light goes on, and the lights around it start to go off. So you need to talk to the people that you talk to every day, but you need to talk about this stuff. You need to talk about what's going on with you. Bring up like what they think about something. Those conversations are incredibly important to removing blockages within yourself and within others, and opening up your abilities as well. And you'll find your soul tribe. You'll find the people that you're supposed to be around that way, and you'll have that family per se during the times where you're feeling crazy, and you'll have those people there to remind you that, hey, you know, I'm going through this too. I have a group of women that I go to whenever I'm going through some stuff, and it's like, you know, we will have our dreams will be syncing up with the same thing. You know, we'll be having the same energetic swings, and be able to be like, give notes back and forth of what's going on in each other's lives. And it again helps strengthen your abilities, and two, it makes you feel like, you know, you're not crazy, and you can able to understand what's happening a little better. So I feel like finding your tribe is incredibly important. Making sure you're talking to those around you is important too, because there could be people around you that are feeling alone and scared just like you, but they're not going to want to admit it, because they're not going to want to look crazy either. Right. So I think that's all. You know, you have to wake up, realize who you are for one, and then go be who you are. And that means owning it. You're not hiding it.
Yeah. I really do agree with the soul tribe thing, because when you do wake up, you are going to realize that some of the people that are in your life currently aren't at your level anymore.
Yes.
You know, so you are going to feel alone, and you're going to want to find a tribe. And there's so many excellent groups on Facebook with like-minded individuals that, you know, are going through the same thing. They're all across the world, and it's really great. You know, that's what I had to do basically, is like go online and like find, you know, spiritual support and people that were going through the same thing, because I really didn't have anybody that was going through what I was going through. in my personal life.
Yeah.
You really do. You create such amazing friendships with people that, are virtual strangers, but you really get to connect, and it's really so important. It really is so important to have people that will talk the woo-woo with you. We'll talk about retrogrades and all the energies that are happening and everything like that, because you're not going crazy.
Yes, it's so important. I can't, like, when I was going through all of my stuff, I just happened to have a friend that was going through not the same, but something similar that was very upsetting, and it was still on a spiritual realm. And to have her to be able to go to during those moments where it's not fun and games to wake up. You have to face your trauma of your whole life when you wake up. You have to realize, like, why you've done the same thing over and over, why you've been in the same type of relationships, why, you have to face, hey, I thought my childhood was great, but I'm starting to remember stuff that I shut out, and maybe it wasn't that great. You're seeing things as they are, and not as the veil, as it was with the veil on it. The veil comes off, and so that can be incredibly painful. And if you're somebody that needs somebody else to talk to like work through those emotions, you need somebody that's not gonna make you feel like, like, oh, we'll just get over it, or, oh, that was a past. Like, you need somebody that lets you really hash it out. You need those type of people around you that support you. So like, if you don't have anybody in your life that you feel fits that, then go online. There's so many groups, and then just find the one where you feel comfortable.
Yeah, totally.
I do want to say, with the groups though, be careful. Don't let yourself, if somebody makes you feel bad, just leave the group. Don't even and don't
I've had
put
to
that
leave.
like, don't act like that, because there's a lot of, like, narcissistic jerks that are attracted to this too. So you have to remember that and use your discernment on who you're going to let into your energy.
There's a lot of spiritual groups on Facebook that are filled with anti-spiritual people, because they that's what they do. They go in just to, like, bash on the spiritual people. So I totally agree with that. Oh gosh, Steph, thank you so much for coming on, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
For all of the information. If you guys want to check her out, I will keep all of her information in the show notes. She is the owner and operator of 1111 Tarot Babe on Facebook, and she has a wonderful group called, what is it again? It's Spiritual Support.
1111 Tarot Babe, readings and spiritual support.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, and thank you for having me.